Alright, this is the second video in the version 1.1 Memory of Chaos, and we'll be taking on the second fight with Fire Trailblazer, Hook, Asta, and Natasha. Second team will be Serval, Ting Yun, Arlan, and March 7th. So, without further ado, let's get started. So, we'll use Trailblazer's technique here into Hook's technique for some extra damage. We go for the left one first because it does have a chance to inflict imprisonment, which can just be a run ender if it hits the wrong ally. So let's quickly go over the Decaying Shadow's pattern. She has a 5 attack pattern, using 1 attack per turn, and all her attacks have the chance to inflict imprisonment. So her first attack is the Fleeting Gilded Spikes. This deals imaginary damage to a random ally. She follows this up with Fleeting Punishment, which deals massive imaginary damage to a single ally. After that, she goes with Binding of the Golden Age. This is one of her signature abilities, where she enters the charge stack state and gains 9 Gauge Recollection stacks. Every attack you deal reduces the amount of stacks by 1. If she is weakness broken in this state, she will recast the ability, so you could essentially stun lock her and prevent her from attacking for the rest of the fight if you just continuously weakness break her. If she gets her next turn, it will be Liberation of the Golden Age, which deals successive minor imaginary damage based on the amount of Gauge Recollection stacks remaining. If there's no stacks remaining, the ability will fail. She finishes off her pattern with another Fleeting Punishment, which is massive imaginary damage to a random ally. So, Natasha's going to be attacking this left guy the entire fight because she can weakness break him with 2 attacks. Now we get Asta's buff maxed out, and just continue attacking. And we even got Trailblazers off. With this, we might actually be able to kill that right guy. It's so close. Because on death, it does replenish energy for the entire team. Okay, now Natasha hits that one. Hook hits the boss and then gets her ultimate. And now Asta can hit the boss and she also gets her ultimate.
Stars, give these trailblazers your blessing. I'm on guard.
We probably can't kill the boss unless we get really lucky with crits here. And it does move next cycle, so it can't even take the burn damage. But it's still a pretty decent time. So, next up, we're gonna again use Trailblazer into Hook. So, let's quickly go over the Automaton Grizzly's attack pattern. He has a 3-turn attack pattern with 2 attacks per turn and starts it out with Destruction Order. This deals physical damage to a single allied unit. He follows this up with Detonation Order, which summons 2 Automaton Spiders, which on death, they will explode and deal damage to their adjacent allies. After this, on turn 2, he's going to start it out with Enrage Order. This just has the chance to taunt all allied units, and then he follows it up with Overcombust Order, where he enters the charge state. The next action he uses will be Purge Order on all targets. So, if you break him during Overcombust Order, he will just recast Overcombust Order until he finally gets off the next attack, Purge Order, which deals massive physical damage to all allied units and is very dangerous, so you want to make sure you either preemptively shield with a Gepard or you have a AoE heal with like a Natasha ready afterwards. So this boss does have a lot more HP, so if you are lacking the damage, you can switch out Trailblazer or even Natasha for another DPS. But Trailblazer is really nice for the weakness breaks, and then Natasha is just a nice safety measure. But if you want to go for that riskier run, you can definitely switch her out for another DPS. Anyways, we're holding Hook's ultimate here until Asta gets her buff up. And luckily it maxed out again. Okay, now we use Trailblazer here. And we can use her ult now.
Lance ablaze! Lance forward!
And then Hook will weakness break the boss here. We'll have Natasha actually heal Asta since we have quite a few spare skill points. And have Asta use her ult.
Give these trailblazers your blessing.
And if we're lucky, Trailblazer splash damage may be able to kill the bombs, or at least bring them low enough where the burn will. Oh, they're a lot lower than I thought they were. Yeah, that's a nice amount of extra damage. I will admit, personally, killing those bombs isn't super reliable with my team. I do it about half the time. So if you want something more reliable, you can definitely add a splash damage DPS to the team. Because while Hook does have splash damage, it's not the most reliable. And so we're saving Natasha's ult for this attack.
Just a little something. Think nothing of it.
And now Hook can probably kill the ult here. Natasha's gonna take away the shield that the left guy gives itself, and then we should be able to end by the end of this cycle.
No manners, huh?
And Hook does have that enhanced basic, though I guess it wasn't really needed. Alright, sweet. 36 cycles, a pretty decent time. We'll use Teen Yun here to get some energy and initiate with Serval. So let's quickly go over Direwolf pattern. It is a very simple pattern because it's only a 2-turn pattern, and he starts it out with Disintegration Order, which deals minor physical damage to a single target with a high chance to inflict 1 stack of bleed. In the same turn, he will use Lock On Target, which locks onto a single target for his next attack, which is Felling Order. Felling Order deals massive physical damage to a single target with a chance to inflict bleed. If the target is not shielded, then he will also cast Dismantle on him, which deals minor physical damage with a high chance to inflict bleed. So we can just focus the boss this entire fight because we have a lot of AoE damage and can kill the minions without even having to target them. Anyways, this is a really easy fight. You really just have to take care of the little target the boss gives with March 7's shield, and then you don't really have to worry that much about the damage, honestly.
You can fight it, or run
We'll
with
use
it.
Teen Yun's ult here to give Serval a buff and also advance all of our allies' actions forward. We'll get a skill point here. Use Serval to weakness
You can
break.
fight it, or rock with it. Seize the moment. Yeah.
And just regenerate a few skill points while we can. And now that the boss has recovered his toughness bar, we'll use Arlan's ult.
Is that all you got? Let me pay you back tenfold.
As well also use March 7's.
Watch this awesome move.
Okay, and he keeps on focusing the shielded target, which is really good. Oh,
Pretty good crowd.
and again.
Turn it up. Told ya I could fight.
So we'll give Ting Yun another shield so she doesn't take any damage, and we should be pretty good for the rest of this fight, honestly.
Yeah, my turn.
Serval will probably get her ult here.
You can
Pretty
fight it.
decent amount of damage, and there is a lot of shock damage on the team, so the boss will lose a lot of HP here.
You can't run.
We'll give this to Serval, and then also buff her ultimate, because Ting Yun does have her technique where she regenerates energy between battles.
Turn it up.
And there we go. Now we use Ting Yun's technique here into March 7th because both the minions are weak to the frost element, so there is the chance to freeze them. Although we were very unlucky.
Nothing can.
So let's quickly go over the Gepard pattern. He has a 3-turn pattern, and for the first turn he uses Fist of Conviction, which is a minor single target ice damage attack, into Smite of Frost, which is a moderate ice damage single target attack. For the second turn, he uses Siege Support. This summons 2 Silvermane Gunners or a single Silvermane Cannoneer, and then locks onto a single target for all attacks. He follows this up with Garrison Aura Field, which generates a barrier for all enemy units, which nullifies the first instance of damage they take. And then for the third turn, he uses Frigid Waterfall. This is a moderate damage AoE attack to all allied units, and it can really hurt, so make sure your squishiest units are protected and you have an AoE heal on hand if needed. If Gepard's weakness broken at any point in this fight, the pattern is reset and he will use those 2 single target attacks again.
Stop me. Let me pay you back. Tenfold. Ready to lose your...
You can fight it or rock with it.
So some decent damage.
Try that again.
This can get pretty risky if he attacks the same one, but we got lucky. And now we'll boost up Serval. Let's give the shield to Tien so that she doesn't die. And since Serval's frozen now, we don't have to worry about their damage for a little bit.
Your number is...
Welcome, customer.
Yep, easy kill.
For you. Let's rock.
Might as well just use a basic to regenerate some skill points. And use this on Arlan since he's getting pretty low. Give me 2 single targets again. And then the boss's next attacks can be the summon into the shield, so we don't have to worry about damage. So we can just go all out.
Fight to win.
Let's be friends.
Now we'll try to freeze the summon, and if we're lucky, we'll do it and then avoid some damage. Yeah, so close.
Keep up. You can
So
fight
let's
it
break the
or rock
boss,
with it. Told you I could fight.
break the minion, and then just keep attacking.
Pretty good crowd today. Turn it up.
Make sure to save up a skill point for March 7th, and give Arlan the shield so that he doesn't die. Interesting.
Let me pay you back. Tenfold.
This will get Serval's ult, which will most likely be enough to finish the fight.
Ready to lose your...
You can fight it or rock with it.
And there we go. So, 30 cycles remaining. Not too bad, honestly. And that was the second fight. I'll just quickly go over the trace levels and limit breaks and all that. So for the first team, we had Fire Trailblazer. Her light cone's up at level 60, of course. Traces, there's the trace levels, and then we'll also quickly take a look at the relic substats. I do have her at 5 limit breaks, which is pretty much the cap for this point in the game. Second character, we'll go with Asta. So I did invest her a little bit more attack wise this time because Hook was the sole DPS, so we wanted a little bit more damage. And this light cone is just great when there's a lot of fire teammates because it just boosts all their damage. Aside from that, I maxed out the talent and skill and then tried to get the ult as high as possible. For relics, here are the substats. And I kept her at 3 limit breaks because I don't really want to get her 4th and 6th limit breaks because they're just a little bit too powerful and a little bit too expensive to get. So we'll go with Hook next. Hook has the level 70 light cone. Her traces, I got most of them up to 7, which is what you need before needing the Echo Vor resources. And then for the relic substance, here's a quick look. And I did give her speed boots just because it makes her act more often. And then she has 2 limit breaks, with the first limit break being one of the best ones because it just makes her enhanced skill stronger and it just synergizes really well with the fire set. For the last unit on the first team, it was Natasha. So pretty much just build her with or HP, sorry, and then max out the ultimate talent and skill as high as you can, with the ultimate honestly taking priority because It's one of her best features because I find I don't have enough skill points to use her skill a lot of the time. One with Passerby Wandering Cloud just for an extra skill point. And then here's the substance real quick. I do have a limit break on her. It's pretty nice as a safety mechanism since it pretty much heals her up to half health when she falls too low. Now for the second team, we had Serval. She does have a lot of innate crit from her traces, lots of crit rates around, and then you just want to upgrade her skills and ultimate as high as possible, and then the talent as well because it's a nice boost of damage. Do have the Seriousness of Breakfast up to 4 super in position. And for the relics, here's a quick look at the substance. For the boots, you can honestly go speed or attack. Both are pretty viable. I'm going with speed because surprisingly I don't have any attack or speed boots at the gold rarity. For the limit breaks, I kept her at 3 as well because I just don't want to get her up to 6 limit breaks for sure because that's just a huge boost in damage. And then 4 limit breaks is also pretty good boost in damage, and I just want to keep them around the level 3 limit break cap. For Ting Yun, yeah, pretty much just focus on her attack stats and her speed and energy regen. The Dance Light Cone is great. I have that superimposed up to 4, and yeah, just try to upgrade the talent, ultimate, and skill as high as you can because they're all just great things, and the talent is really nice to utilize other allies' attack stats. The bonus ability, you definitely do want to get this left one because the speed boost is really crucial. Aside from that, I went Musketeer of Wild Wheat just for the speed boost, and then Space Ceiling for the attack boost. For the limit breaks, the first one's a pretty good limit break because it just increases the speed of your DPS. Let's see. The next unit was Arlan. So, Arlan was an interesting choice, I will admit. I don't have him... actually, I have some decent trace levels on him, but I haven't invested too much into him. I do have him with the Guard of Wuthering Snow, just so that he doesn't die all the time. It gives him a little bit more durability, and also some energy recharge. But you can honestly go with the Lightning or even a Musketeer of Wild Wheat set. Both are pretty decent. Or if you have another unit, you can use that over Arlan as well. I found Su Shang to be pretty decent. Now for the last unit, March 7th. I much brought her on the team to freeze the Gepard minions because they're just really annoying. And it's just good to keep them locked down the entire fight. You have Weird Wildfire because it acts as a heal in between battles. And then just max out the skill as high as you can. For the relics, you pretty much just want Knight of Purity Palace because you do want the extra shield strength, and then speed boots are ideal. For the limit breaks, I do have 2 limit breaks, and I will admit the second one is pretty nice because it saves you from using a skill point early on, but you can definitely do without them. You may just need to use a little bit more RNG, or may need to waste an extra skill point at the start of battle. Anyways, that is all for this video. I will work on getting the next one out pretty soon. Working on some teams for these. This first team is actually a really good element matchups, and then the second team, which gave me an interesting team with the Herta as a DPS. Anyways, thanks for watching. Later.